Hi friends, welcome back to SGK English for a new video, for a new lesson, that is Lost Spring by Anis Jung. Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood by Anis Jung. Yes, let us know something about the author. Anis Jung, born in the year 1964. Actually, if you search internet and know more about her, you will know that her date of birth is not 64 but 44. Search internet, you will find out. I think this is a printing mistake. Okay, leave it. She was born in Rourkela, Orissa, and spent her childhood. She spent her childhood, and adolescence, means teenage, in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the US. Her parents were both writers. Anis Jung began her career as a writer in India. Yes, she has been an editor and columnist. Who is a columnist? A regular writer of a newspaper, a special column would be given to him or her, and she would write regularly. That is columnist. Okay, so columnist, for major newspapers in India and abroad. In India and abroad. And has authored several books. She has written many books. The following is an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. What is spring? Spring season. The most beautiful season of the year is spring. In the same way, for a man, the most beautiful, the most wonderful period of his life is childhood. Yes, stories of stolen childhood. So childhood is the most beautiful period of a man's life. So for some people, their childhood is stolen by poverty, by social problems, and many other reasons. So these are actually stories of what? Stolen childhood. We are going to see how childhood is stolen. We people are lucky that we have a bright, colorful childhood, materially and spiritually. See, materially means we have almost all things required for bringing up, including financial support from our parents. Spiritually means love of our parents, mother, father, and protection of the family, all those things together. Yes, our childhood is so bright and colorful. But for some people it is not like this, not there. So childhood is stolen. We are going to see in this lesson. Okay, here she analyzes, in this essay, in this story, she is analyzing what? The grinding poverty. Yes, the cruel grinding poverty. And traditions. In a way, tradition is a reason for the suffering of many group of people. See, we know that previously in India, the caste system, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, see, division of labor, Brahmins are supposed to do only, godly things, Kshatriya protecting the country, Vaishya doing the business, and Shudras doing menial job. As a result of that, whatever work is done by a community is considered to be, spiritually theirs, and they thought it to be very holy. And new generation will be taught only the trade of a potter, of a blacksmith, or a goldsmith, or any kind of professions. Once upon it was considered to be traditional. They won't go for any other job. That tradition You see, is a reason for exploitation. It was a method of exploitation. So here two reasons are there. Grinding poverty. Poverty of ordinary people. And traditions. Yes, traditions. Which condemn these children. So they are condemned to a life of exploitation. So they are getting exploited for two reasons. Number one, poverty. That is the most cruel thing, in the world. So there is no remedy for that. Only bring them up to the mainstream is the only remedy. Especially in India, the gap between haves and have-nots is so wide and vast. The rich become richer and the poor become poorer in the Indian economy. Okay now. So our system is like that. The difference between the rich and the poor, the gap is so wide and vast. So I don't think it will be. The gap is leveled in a near future. Okay now. So that's what the government should try to do. Remove the gap between haves and have-nots. So the poor people are always exploited. There are more than 8 crores of people in India who are below poverty line. Yes, poverty line. What is that? There is no line drawn above anybody's head. Those who cannot earn 28 rupees in villages and 32 in cities are marked to be below poverty line. Not my personal opinion, according to Niti Aayog. Previously it was Planning Commission, now it is Niti Aayog. They term like this. Those who cannot spend 28 rupees, you know what you would get for 28 rupees? 1 kg rice you cannot get. Maybe half kg somehow you may be able to get. Prices going up day by day. So with that, no man can survive for a day. So those who cannot earn 28 rupees in villages and 32 in cities are marked as a below poverty line. In such a way, 8 crores of people are there in India. That's our system. India is not the India of Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta and Chennai. See, even Mahatma Gandhi said the heart of India lies in villages. Yes, the condition of the villagers are pathetic and in a way too terrible. Let us see the story, what she has to say in this story. Okay, let us begin. Why do you do this? The first question, Margit. Why do you do this? I asked Sahib, it's the name of a boy. Meaning of the word is different. We are going to see in the lesson. I asked Sahib, whom I encounter every morning. I meet him every morning. One day I asked him, why do you do this? Scronging for gold. Scronging means searching for something which is not valuable, silly things. So he was searching for gold. Gold doesn't mean real gold. Maybe silver, maybe coin, maybe something valuable. Searching for something valuable in the garbage dumps. Where garbage is dumped. Okay now. Of my neighborhood. So he was searching for gold where in the garbages, dumped garbages in my neighborhood. I meet him every day. And I asked him once, oh Sahib, why do you do this? I asked him one day. Sahib left his home long ago. He left his home long ago. Set amidst the green fields of Dhaka, his native place. Dhaka means Bangladesh. His home is not even a distant memory. Even in his distant memory, his home is not there. Even in his distant memory, his home is not there. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. There were many storms, maybe cyclonic storm or something of that kind, swept away the homes. Homes is not a concrete building. Shed. Yes, with the tarpaulin or tin sheet they would make it. Or even two cinema posters they will place in such a way that they will crawl under it and sleep under. That's their home. In the poem, what is it? An elementary school in a slum we saw. The condition of slum area. Do you remember a film, Slumdog Millionaire? Yes, it won Oscar Award also. See the condition of slums in India. Hundreds and hundreds of slums are there in India. Not in Mumbai or big cities alone. Where people are not able to fill their stomach even once a day. Even once a day. Stomach full, they are not able to eat. Yes. So, why do you do this? What is the question? That's the question. Why? Why, Sahu? Why do you do this? Yes. His home is not even a distant memory. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. His mother tells him. His mother told him one day. Home was there. House was there. When a storm came, it flew away. Such a small shed, that kind of a house he had once upon a time, that also flew away in the storm. That is why they left their native place and looking for gold. Means something valuable, that is all. Something valuable. Gold, silver, copper, whichever, no coin, whichever, no problem. They are searching for something valuable. Actually, it is for them gold. What is found, what is valuable for them is gold. Searching for gold in a big city where he now lives. So he is searching for gold in a big city where he lives now. So the question is, why do you do this? I have nothing else to do. His answer, what to do, sir? What to do? I have nothing else to do. His answer was very plain and simple. I have nothing else to do. He mutters, he murmurs, I have no other job. What else can I do? Yes, looking away. See, he did not face face to face. He turned his face away, telling, I have nothing else to do. What can I do? No other job. What can I do? You see, a migrant from Bangladesh, he says, what can I do? I have nothing else to do. This paragraph might be given for a paragraph answers. Okay, now, as you wrote in, 10th class and intro also, paragraph will be given, and based on the paragraph, some questions will be asked. Even a word, one word can bring you 1 mark. One sentence can bring you 1 mark. Okay, so take care. I have nothing else to do. I have nothing else to do. Go to school, I said. Naturally, a boy should go to school in his age, childhood. I said, Ghibli, which means simply without thinking. Yes, I said, you go to school, you're a boy now. Boy should go to school. Not wandering here and there searching for something in a garbage. No. You must go to the school. Go to school. You go to school, I said. Yes, I realized immediately how hollow the advice must sound. Hollow is empty. How meaningless my advice seems to be. Anyone can simply say you go to school, but without dress for wearing, a decent dress, without eating at least once a day, nomadic people, how can he go? He cannot afford. And there is no one take care of him. No parents with him. He is simply wandering nomadic with other people, wandering boys. You see, so how can he go to school? I simply asked him, you go to school? I told him. But his answer was, my advice seemed to be so hollow, empty or meaningless. Yes, hollow the advice must sound. There is no school in my neighborhood. What to do, sir? There is no school in my, where is a neighborhood? When they build one, I will go. If a school is constructed, if they build one, surely I would go. If I start a school, will you come? I asked him. If I start a school, will you come to join? Half jokingly I said, Are Sahab, if I start a school, will you come? Yes, sir. He was so happy that I was going to begin a school. Yes, he says, smiling broadly with a broad smile. He was so happy to hear that a school is going to be started. That is by me. Yes, he said, smiling broadly, yes, sir. A few days later, I see him running up to me and asked, is your school ready? School ready, sir? He took it very seriously when I was joking. And when I said, will you come to join my school if I start a school? And the boy said, yes, sir. He was so happy to hear that the school is going to be started. And he said he would join. But he asked me after a few days whether the school was ready. I then only found that he was so serious. Yes, it takes longer to build a school. Sorry, Babu, sorry, Sahib. We cannot build a school in such a short notice, short while. Okay, it takes so much time. I say, embarrassed having made a promise that was not meant. My promise was not meant. I simply said without thinking of the meaning or possibility or practicality or something. I simply said, I will start a school, you come and join. But he was very serious and he asked me a few days, sir, is the school ready? It takes longer time to build a school. See, embarrassed having made a promise that was not meant. My promise was not actually meant. I was in a way joking. Yes, but promises like mine abound in every corner of this bleak world. In this bleak, dark world, these kinds of promises abound means in abundance or in plenty. People would say many things, they don't mean what they say. Is it not so? They don't mean what they say. They would give some promises, they would not keep their word of promise. Especially our rulers, politicians, when election come, they would make many promises. After that, they would generally forget also. Simply told. Okay, after months of knowing him, I see him every day, coming in the morning, collecting all the, something valuable from the garbages, roadside, etc., etc. After knowing him for many months, I asked him his name. One day I asked him, Sahib, sorry, what's your name, boy? He said, Sahib-e-Alam. Yes, he told his full name. He announces. He does not know what it means. Actually, he doesn't know what's the meaning of that word, Sahib-e-Alam. If he knew his meaning, if at all he knew the meaning of that his name, that word, Lord of the universe is the meaning. By meaning, his name suggests that he is the Lord of the universe. But actually, he is a beggar of the universe. Is it not so? What an irony. So, the meaning of his name is the Lord of the universe. But actually, he is a poor rag picker. With a sack, he would come in the morning, collect maybe empty bottles, water bottles all empty, thrown out from into the roadside, and garbages and other things. He will search to find something valuable. By evening, he will collect something and sell somewhere. He would make little money. With that, he is struggling to make both ends meet. Struggling to survive. That's what. But by name, his name suggests that he is the Lord of the universe. If at all he knew the meaning, it would be very difficult for him to believe that he is the Lord of the universe. Okay? Yes. Okay. Unaware of what his name represents, without knowing the meaning of his name, he roams the streets with his friends. He is roaming, wandering the streets with his friends. An army of barefoot boys. Bare means naked, that means not wearing any chappals, sandals, or even shoes. Barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. They would generally appear in the morning. They would start their work collecting things from the roadside, from the garbage, from everywhere it is possible. Anything valuable they would collect, they would sell it. Okay now? Yes. And disappear at noon. They would come, they would collect, they would be moving on to their place of destination. Over the months, I have come to recognize each of them gradually. Slowly, I began identify each and every one of them one by one, even their names. Why aren't you wearing chappals? I asked one. One day I asked one of them, Rere Babu, why aren't you wearing chappals? My mother did not bring them down from the shelf, he answered simply. Actually, he was joking, chapel shelf won't be that much high. Okay, now height would be very less. But he said, my mother did not bring it down from the shelf so high. He was joking, of course. Even if she did, he will throw them off. Asks another, who is wearing shoes that do not match. He was wearing a pair of shoes that do not match his feet. Why? Given by someone, maybe thrown out also. A very old one. Big man's, grown up man's shoes worn by a small boy. This is not his body fit or fitting his feet so big that he was walking awkwardly. Okay. When I comment on it, he shuffles his feet and says nothing. He shakes his feet to make it fit and he keeps mum because very sure that it does not belong to him. Somebody gave or he got maybe from garbage. It does not suit to his feet. Okay, I want shoes, says a third boy. Actually, I want a pair of shoes, a third boy says. Who has never owned a pair all his life. He has never owned a pair of shoes in his entire life. How lucky you people are. You would not use a pair of shoes for more than 1 or 2 years. Then you would ask your parents to buy a new one. He is telling that it is torn, it is dirty. If it is not torn, you will tear also. And say that I want a pair of shoes because my friends are all wearing new pair of shoes. I want a new one. A new academic year, I want a new pair of shoes. You would say generally, okay now. But here is a boy who has never owned a pair of shoes in his entire life. Okay, traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot. Yes, I have seen a lot of children walking without any chappals or shoes. Okay, in cities, on village roads, it is not a lack of money but a tradition to stay barefoot. Not simply money alone. It's a tradition that they would walk barefoot. Okay, is one explanation. For example, your grandparents, if you ask them, they would say, don't wear chappals or shoes. Why? Earth is holy. We are holy. We are made by God and our feet should touch the soil. We are sons of the soil, so we should touch when you are walking. Otherwise, it is a sin to walk on the holy earth using a chappal or a pair of shoes. They would say, maybe 100 years before. Okay, now, what is that? I wonder if this is only an excuse to explain away perpetual state of poverty. Actually, that explanation is not genuine or sincere. It is only a method of explaining away a perpetual, permanent state of what? Poverty. Poor people unable to buy a pair of shoes, they would say many excuses. Just our boy said, no, my mother did not bring down from the shelf. In the same way, they would say that we should not use chappal, sandals or shoes because earth is holy, our feet should touch the soil, etc. and etc. They are all excuses to justify a permanent state of poverty. Let us move on. I remember a story a man from Udupi once told me. Once upon a time, a man from Udupi told me, as a young boy, he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. He would pass by the temple. There his father himself was the priest of the temple. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. A boy's biggest ambition. Oh Lord, oh God, I want to get a pair of shoes. 30 years later, I visited his town and the temple, which was now drowned in an air of desolation. Means loneliness, which means empty. That means people are not going that much as they used to visit previously. Nowadays, especially during the time of Corona and all, nobody goes to temple, churches, etc. because of fear, because they are afraid of people nearby, moving. Okay, now, Corona might, they might be, suffering from COVID. We don't know whether they are suffering or not. We are afraid of other people coming very near to us. So, when I went 30 years later, I found that most people were not there visiting the temple. In the backyard where lived a new priest. In the backyard of the temple, there was a new priest. There were red and white plastic chairs. Yes, not a costly one. cheap item, plastic chair. A young boy dressed in a grey uniform, wearing socks and shoes. Young boy was there, the son of the priest. He was wearing socks and shoes. Arrived panting and threw his school bag on a folding bed. See, folding bed is cheap item of bed. Okay, now he was panting, means taking quick breath, and he threw his school bag on that folding bed. Looking at the boy, I remembered the prayer of another boy had made to the goddess when he had finally got a pair of shoes. I remember another boy who made a different prayer. What is that? Let me never lose them. Oh my God, these shoes, let me never lose it. When he got a pair of shoes, he was so happy. When he got a pair of shoes, he was so happy that he was praying to God that he might never lose it. He wanted to wear it at the end of his life. Oh, let me never lose it. Oh my God, he was praying. The goddess had granted his prayer, really. Young boys like the son of the priest now wore shoes. Nowadays, after 30 years, young boys like the son of the priest, they are wearing shoes. But many others like the rat pickers in my neighborhood remain shoeless. But still, many children like the rat pickers in my neighborhood, they are still shoeless. They are not rich enough to buy a pair of shoes. Let us move on. My acquaintance with the barefoot rat pickers, my acquaintance means familiarity, nearness. Okay, now familiarity. Okay, I saw him every day. I am friendly with them. I ask their name. I am familiar to them. See, knowing directly, close relation. That's what familiarity. My acquaintance with the barefoot rat pickers leads me to Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi, means outskirts nearby. It is not far away from Delhi. Actually, it is a part of UP, which is very near to Delhi. Okay. Yet miles away from it metaphorically, though very near to Delhi. So Delhi is the capital city of India. Most costly, luxurious. But none of these developments has affected the place Simapuri. Though it is very near, it is far away in development. So metaphorically, what is that? It is miles away, means so much far away in development. You see? Even in Delhi, what happens? Just outside that big city where all the VIPs live, you can find hundreds of people sleeping on the roadside. You can find in the evening, during the night, you can find poor people are there. They are not beggars, they are workers, working from morning to evening, but unable to afford, to get a room of their own, even for rent. What can they do? They sleep on the roadside, and early morning they would get up and take a bucket of water from the street pipe. They would bath there, and nearby area somewhere they would do all their nature chores, and they would be ready by 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. And they work from morning to eve. And even they come and sleep on the roadside again. Last year, I think you might have read in newspapers that one famous film star was running over some of the people sleeping on the roadside in Delhi. Okay, now cruel things are there. Anyhow, there is a pathetic condition. So metaphorically, though they are very near to Delhi, they are far away from it because there is no development in Simapuri. Those who live here are squatters, means migrants. Those who migrated from. Here they are immigrants coming from other country to this country, who came from Bangladesh back in 1971. Do you remember? India-Pakistan war, and Bangladesh liberated, it became an independent country, etc. etc. Okay, now, during that time they migrated from Bangladesh and came to India. Just recently, what happened in Afghanistan, people tried to run away from there, but that also not permitted, and American plane somewhere climbing on that, when the plane took off, they fell from there and died. Very pathetic condition there, Afghanistan. And among them, one was a football player, part of Afghanistan football team, national team. He died also. Pathetic condition in many places. I repeat once again, pathetic condition of poor people. Why? India is not the India of Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta or Chennai. Yes, pathetic condition. Sahib's family is one among them, those who migrated from Bangladesh to India. Simapuri was then a wilderness. It is still is even now. Wilderness is like a forest, but it is no longer empty. But not empty. It is in structures of mud, not concrete building. Mud building, structures of mud, with roofs of tin and tarpaulin. See, tin sheet and tarpaulin with covering. Okay, devoid of sewage, drainage, or running water. No drainage, no running water. Nothing was there. There live 10,000 rag pickers, not one or two. More than 10,000 rag pickers are there in Simapuri. They have lived here for more than 30 years without an identity. Yes, they came from Bangladesh to India and they are staying there with no identity. When a group of people, when a man, runs for his life, he does not take any documents or papers because life is more important. Even if he takes it, no use here now. They belong to another country. They cannot show it here and say, I am Bangladeshi, which means he will be sent back. So just migrants, okay now? Yes, refugees. That's the exact word. Okay, refugees from Bangladesh. So they have lived here for more than 30 years without an identity. Yes, without permits, but ration cards that get their names on voters' lists and enable them to buy grain. What really happens when election comes, the politician will go there and they will show this is a symbol or lotus is a symbol, you will vote for us, then your name will be enrolled in voters list. Okay, they would keep that promise because they would like to get the votes of these people. The name will be entered, then they may give a ration card also so that they can go and get some ration. That is all. But no, passport or anything will be given to stay here. There is no proof that they belong to this country. Okay, now? No proof that they belong to Bangladesh also. So they are simply refugees. Okay, for food is more important for survival than an identity. To survive, what is more important? The most important thing is food to eat than an identity. If at the end of the day we can feed our families and go to bed without an aching stomach, means empty stomach, aching because of empty, nothing is there because the stomach is empty. So if we can get something to eat, that is more important than identity. We would rather live here than in the fields that gave us no grain. The land is not fertile there. Though fields are there, rivers are there, but no grain, no cultivation. I say a group of women in tattered saris, when I asked them why they left their beautiful land of green fields and rivers, I asked some of them, why you left your native place and why you are here? You can go back, No. At the end of the day, we want to fill our stomach. Something to eat is more important than getting an identity. Whenever they find food, they pitch their tents that become transit homes. Yes, if food is available, if they can get some food somehow by searching everywhere, garbage, etc., that is more important for them. They make their tent, that is their house, shed, tent. It becomes a transit home, means temporary or movable. They make a tent, they will sleep under that. Children grow up in them, becoming partners in survival. They take part in the process of survival. They become partners in survival with their parents. And survival in Simapuri means rag picking. Only one source, one method of survival, that is rag picking. Through the years, it has acquired proportions of a fine art, which means through the years they have been doing for many years. They are doing it methodically and systematically. In the same way, a fine art is being done. Garbage to them is gold. To them, this garbage is gold, means so valuable, so much valuable, because it is a means of survival. It is their daily bread. From the garbage they get their daily bread. a roof over their heads, even if it is a leaking roof. They get a roof over their head, though it is leaking. But for a child, it is more. It is much more than that. What is that? I sometimes find a rupee. Even 10 rupee note. Sometimes I find a rupee, 1 rupee. Sometimes 10 rupee. 10 rupee is unbelievable for those rag pickers. You know what is the value of 10 rupee nowadays? Less than 1 rupee actually. But for them, those who cannot fill their stomach even once a day. You see, 10 rupee means something like a treasure. So he is expecting more. If I can get 10 rupee today, I will search, going on searching. I may get another one tomorrow also, I can try. Yes, Sahib says. See, the quotation taken as the heading of our lesson is, what's that? I sometimes find a rupee. Sometimes I get a rupee and even 10 rupee note. Sahib says, his eyes lighting up, his eyes brightening. Okay. When you can find a silver coin in a heap of garbage, you don't stop scrolling. Yes, when you find a gold coin, silver coin, simply a rupee, 10 rupee, you go on searching. For there is hope of finding more. There's every chance that you may find more and more. It seems that for children, garbage has a meaning different from what it means to their parents. It is more valuable, more important for children than their parents. For children, it is wrapped in wonder. That means there is more chance of getting more valuable things. Yes, for the elders, it is a means of survival. For the elders, it is a only means of survival. I am moving fast because the lesson is pretty long. That is why. So bear with me. We will stop here for the day for the video number 1. We will continue in part 2. Thank you for watching. Meet you in the next video. Goodbye.